Hello everyone, this is Sean Spalding. I am putting together this quick tutorial for you. If you'd like to follow along, jump on the website here, www.sos.ca.gov, and we'll get started. Pretty robust website in general. Has a lot of information contained in here. We're going to focus obviously on the business portion, so we're going to go ahead and click here on business. We're going to see what kind of services are available through the Secretary of State. Here's a glimpse of the hot topics, things that you'll probably run into quite a bit in the legal field. So you see things like your statement of information filing online, forms, and then obviously the business search. So we're going to take a look at a couple of these, starting with the business search and free images. So when you click on that, it'll take you to the screen, and then you just need to have obviously a name that you want to search, or if you have the entity number, that's even better. But basically, you're just selecting here. If it's a corporate name, select corporation. If it's a limited partnership or a limited liability company, whatever the case may be. So let's run a quick search and see exactly what comes up. So I just typed in Target to give us a kind of a wide range of results here. And so we see what we get here, kind of a snapshot of possible entities that we're looking for, right? And you look over here and you see the registration date, status, which is really important, and we have all kinds of different statuses here. We've got active, surrendered, forfeited. And so that can be helpful information from a glimpse. I know when I'm looking up new business, or I should say new clients that have corporations, I always jump in here and diagnose whether or not they're active or if they've been suspended already and what that means, so that I can counsel them on that. So this is very important, and it's really helpful that this information is so easily accessible. Okay, so let's jump in and see what's in here when you click on the actual entity that you're looking for. Really the same information up here, but you also get the address, the agent for service of process, which is important. And then you'll be able to see all of the, and we'll be able to see here the images that have material impact as far as the entity itself is concerned with the State of California and the Secretary of State. So you'll see things like the initial registration, so the articles of incorporation that were filed. You'll see other important documents like amendments, mergers, and acquisitions. And then you'll also see the statement of information. So we'll go ahead and pull up one of these statements of information real quick and take a look at it. Pretty straightforward. If your address has changed, you have to put it in there. If your officers have changed, you put it in there. Otherwise, you get to basically check a box that says there's no changes. And so that's always helpful for small businesses. You basically just log in and say, hey, nothing's changed. And you pay the $25 so that everybody knows it's been updated within the past year, so it should be reliable information. And we'll take a look at the online system real quick, but it's nothing too fancy. But like I said, we'll navigate over to it. So that's what you'll see here in the search results when you click onto the actual entity. You'll be able to get a lot of information. Again, I look at stuff like this in the statement of information, the initial registration for my clients as it relates to things like the trust fund recovery penalty, or if, more specifically, if say the IRS is trying to assess that to an individual. Let's look at who were the officers at the time. Was this individual an officer? If they were, we might have to go in one direction. If they're not, then maybe we have a good defense. But again, this is has a wide array of uses. It's definitely helpful, and it's definitely worth knowing where it's at. Okay, so let's jump back over to businesses. We'll take a look at the statements of information. So there's different ways to put this in. If you know the exact name, you can obviously take the name in. Otherwise, you can put the entity number. I've copied the entity number already. So we see this is Action Target, and here the statement has been filed within the last year, so we're not going to be able to do an actual submission. We're not going to submit one either. But basically, the process is very simple. If it's a no change, you literally check a box, no change, and then you pay the $25, and then voila, you're done with the statement of information. If anything's changed, it's only a one-page sheet anyway, so it doesn't take very long to complete. But again, you're just putting the public on notice of where you're located and who the agent for service of process is. Okay, so let's head back to businesses, and we'll look at one other section here. And this is the forms, samples, and fees. This is a really great resource if you're in the business of forming entities, because all of the information that you need is right here, and it's readily available. It's updated constantly. So this is, again, a great resource, whether or not you're in the legal service profession or if you're just a small business wants to try to figure out how to do it yourself. You can go in here, say, okay, I'm going to form a corporation, and you've got the various forms already set out for you, whether you're general stock, a closed corporation, professional, various nonprofits, whatever the case may be. But we'll pull one of these up and kind of see, we can kind of compare to what we filled out with that short form template through OnLaw. And you'll see that it's going to be very similar, or at least the information is going to be very similar to what we've already done. In a professional setting, you tend to prefer to perhaps do the filing kind of in a less, I don't know what the right word is, but it tends to look a little more professional what's written out, especially if it's on the long form, as opposed to using these forms. But it depends. It's a case by case. What kind of entity are you forming? How large is it? Is it just a single member that's been operating as a self-employed individual for many years, and they just want to take advantage of the tax benefits of switching over to being a corporation taxed under Subchapter S or an S corporation? Whatever the case may be, it just depends. I do occasionally form entities, and I usually just use these forms for most of the people that I'm doing it for. But like I said, if it's a more sophisticated client, you probably would want it to be written out on kind of a different format than this. But like I said, this has all of the instructions in it. It has a ton of information for somebody that's trying to fill this out. And like I said, you're going to see the same kind of layout that we used right in our template. And so you have the corporate name, you'll have the business address, you'll have the service of process, how many shares are authorized, your purpose statement, and then the signature for the incorporator. But again, there are several documents on here that are really helpful for forming businesses or making amendments. You'll see things like, hey, we want to restate our articles of incorporation, or we want to amend our name or something like that. All of that's in here, and it tells you if there's a fee or if there is no fee, if it's available to be done online. And I imagine this is going to continue to expand, this online, because it's just so much more efficient. But of course, they've got to have all the security protocols, and they've got to work through all the kinks and everything. But I think that's what we'll see in the future. So again, this is a great resource for legal service providers, attorneys, paralegals, whatever the case may be. There's a lot of information in here. You can add, if you need to figure out how to dissolve a company, if you need to figure out how to, set up the nonprofit, what type of nonprofit are you looking to establish? All of that information is in here. Limited liability companies, that information is in here. Limited partnerships. So there, again, a lot of information, really a helpful tool or helpful resource for you. So that's pretty much it. Again, I just wanted to walk us through the assignment this week, and obviously this is our last week here. I'll get that posted up tonight. It's basically going to just ask you to go through this part of the Secretary of State's website for businesses, kind of peruse, if you will, the various options or at least some of the hot topics, and get a feel for it. Maybe search for some companies that some corporations that see if they're in here. But like I said, you can kind of see the connection between the fictitious business name, which is filed with the county recorder, or the county recorder's office. So whether you're in San Diego, San Mateo, whatever county you might be in, that's to put your local population on notice of what name you're using to operate the business, right? And then, so if they, in a perfect world, they file their fictitious business name, somebody could go and that has a lawsuit that they might want to initiate, and they're like, okay, who do I need to serve to effectuate process or notice for the lawsuit? They would go into the fictitious business name index. They would find whatever we have widgets is actually some other corporation that we need to figure out who the agent for service process is for. So although they're separate government agencies, there is some connectivity there as far as the purpose behind having them. But like I said, there are other services in here. It's really a great system. Kind of getting back to the assignment, we're really just going to be piggybacking off of our last discussion, which asks the question broadly, what online services governments are providing, should they expand, could they improve upon? And we'll actually focus in on the Secretary of State. So do a little research on here, look around, and then, like I said, the instructions are going to be on there, but the general idea is going to be to say, hey, what's good about this, what's bad about it, and what might be something that they could add to it to make it, or to expand on the services to kind of make things more efficient across the board. But otherwise, it's been great having everybody. I hope the class was informative for you. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me through Canvas or through email. Otherwise, thanks again, and good luck on the exam.